Well, hey everybody, I'm the Crockett Cooner and this is the Crockett Coonhound Show. And today, guys, I am out here in the yard with my Christmas inflatables. Now, pretty obvious to see that my little dog and my little penguin is doing pretty good, but now my big Santa Claus, well, we're having a 4-alarm holiday problem, guys. We really are. This is not good. And yesterday I got out here in the yard. I tried to fix my little Santa Claus. I don't know if you guys can hear it here on the film, but his little engine in there, the little turbine electric motor, is not spinning fast enough to completely fill him up, and he has developed a couple of holes while he was in storage. Now, a lot of folks that have bought inflatables like this, you know, some of them can be kind of cheap, and other ones are a bit more expensive, and you know, you hate to use them one time, not get enough use out of them, but there is a way to fix this. Now, they do make patch kits and things for these guys, but I wanted to show you guys something. I don't know if you can see it there on film. I'm going to get you over here and get you some good pictures and videos and things, but my Santa Claus has developed some pretty good size holes in him. Now, a lot of folks don't know this, but you know, the old industrial tape, I like the Gorilla tape. This stuff can fix about anything, guys. I'm gonna patch my Santa Claus from the inside. I'm gonna show you guys, and for folks that didn't know this, you can in fact take apart some of the blowers that are inside of them, especially on the older inflatables, and all it takes is a little tender love and care. It also depends if they have sucked something up out of your yard. Many times they'll suck thatch and things up from the yard, and it'll slow the engine down, and all it takes is a little cleaning out to fix that problem. And I'm going to show you guys at home how I do it, and hopefully we can have my Santa Claus standing 18 or 20 feet. I don't remember how tall it is, but anyways, standing back up there again for Christmas. You guys stay tuned right here, fixing to get into the video. I want to get down here and kind of show you what I'm dealing with here. Now take a look right here. This is just one of them. I believe he's developed 2 or 3 holes. I mean, I can get my whole finger inside that hole, guys, where the stitching apparently has come loose and things. But with a simple fix, just with some tape, you can fix it. But I'm going to get around here. I'm going to unzip his bottom, and we're going to turn him inside out. We're going to see what we can do with this. The key to it is you may have to inflate him 2 or 3 times, because each time you patch a hole, it's just going to get better. And as he gets taller and taller, you will be able to figure out where your holes are at. But now I also wanted to show you guys a little side note here. Now, you know, for anybody that's ever messed with inflatables, you guys know that they come with these real nice little pins. I've got some underneath his base down there where the legs come down. But for the pins out in the yard, many times with my Santa Claus, he stands up so high, guys, that if you don't get his guide cables completely correct, he won't stand all the way up, or it'll pull him. A thing that I found is you can just go find old screwdrivers. I bought enough to do him completely at an auction one time, I believe for about $3. I bought a whole box of just old screwdrivers, and the beauty about them is you can drive them in the ground at an angle, and if you need to readjust, you can just walk over, grab them, pull them back out. Now I'm going to go back, as always, with these frayed ends and things and trim them up. I actually put him some new line on there yesterday to make sure that he'd be attached to the ground good in all the windstorms. But let's get on with it. I'm going to flip him over, unzip him. We're going to take a look at the inside. Well, guys, I have moved my Santa Claus up here to the front patio. We're checking out the bottom of his base and everything. Now, I've discovered something, all right? I found out that my base is cracked down here. If you guys notice, you can see it right there, I hope. And I'm going to try to repair this also, and I'll tell you how I'm going to do it, guys. I'm going to completely remove the inflatable from this base, and I'm going to take this plastic, I'm going to try to take a soldering iron with an old tip on it, heat it up. I'm going to show that to you guys. I've already got electricity run out here. I'm going to try to melt the plastic back so that this base will be solid. It appears that one side right here is wiggling quite a bit, but in order to remove this base from the inflatable, you have to have your Torx heads and things. It's really no problem, guys. You've just got to figure out what is the right size to do it with, and well, if I'm lucky enough, I can figure it out here in just a second. But I disconnected all my power, and now we're going to get in here and we're going to see what we can do with this. It might be that I can actually build him a wooden base. I don't know, it just depends on how the plastic's going to go, because if you can see right here, well, it's literally cracked all the way across. Now, a lot of people will say, well, you could just throw that away, you know. And I guess I could, guys, but I'm always trying to be resourceful, so maybe I can fix this problem. I'm going to, through the powers of video editing, kind of show you guys the best of everything that's going on. But I love this Santa Claus, and my main man Dave really likes it. Actually, a good friend of mine gave him to me. There's no telling how old this thing is, but when I priced them, because I thought, well, this one's seen better days, yeah, found out that they're kind of expensive, you know, to have something in the front yard that you only really use one time a year. So I was like, well, I'm going to see what I can do with this one and see if I can get it going. Now, I have found my zipper, guys. I'm going to show you what we've done is we've actually separated the blower motor from the inside of here. I do know that you can buy these, but this one is still spinning, guys. It's just, like I said, it's seen better days. Now, what you have inside, if you guys can see it there, I hope you can, there's a metal ring that actually attaches this base to the inflatable. Once again, it's just little small Torx heads, I believe is what these are, and we are going to keep disassembling until we get down here to the heart of the matter and address the big issue first, and then go for the tape second. So you guys hang on. I'm fixing to remove all these and I'll be right back with you. I have separated it completely. We have the base out here. I can get it up here and show you guys really good what's going on. When this guy was in fact pegged down to my yard there with the stakes, we had some high winds a few years ago, and basically what has happened is the base of this has cracked. Now, I do believe with my soldering iron I can do something on the inside here where the surface is smooth. I believe I can melt a few spots. We're going to give it a go. I'm not really sure what type of plastic this is, but you know, I don't have any money in it. Like I said, it was given to me. I'm going to try to repair what I've got. But now I want to show you the little blower motor here. Instead of unhooking this particular cable, which is what runs up inside the Santa Claus and lights him up at nighttime, and what we've basically got going on here is we had 3 common wires and 3 ground wires all wired together. The power's off. I'm going to go around, guys. I'm going to remove these screws. We're going to get in here to where this little engine is. Hopefully this won't take just a second to do. I'm going to let you guys watch me do it here at home and try to talk to you while I'm doing it, because, well, I'm actually here by myself doing this, and you know, it's kind of nice to have somebody to talk to. That's why I'm talking to you guys. So we're going to see what we can do. I've had this apart, like I said, guys, in times past. For all my folks out there that are auto mechanics and things, especially the guys and girls that have been around for a while, you guys have messed with some of the older vehicles. I'm talking some of the things on back. This is much like a heater core motor inside. There's really not much difference to it. An old mechanic one time showed me a little trick about taking a small drill bit, popping a hole in the end of the case, and seeing if you... Well, guys, I can't win for losing today. I know you guys can't tell it there at home, but I I got a phone call right in the middle of doing this. Stopped my filming and everything. I'm doing this one with my cell phone. But I went ahead and I took the top off. I wanted to show you guys, like I had said, for my folks that are mechanics. Basically, all you got here, it's just like a little impeller and a squirrel cage type of blower. But I wanted to show you guys, you know, I'd mentioned the thatch in the yard. Well, it doesn't appear that this one has sucked up too much thatch, but it is really dusty, really dirty. I can listen to it if I spin it with my hand. You can hear it grinding just a little bit. But we have a clip right here. I'm going to take this clip off. I'm going to separate this. We're going to get on down there to that electric motor right quick and take a look at what is going on. Do I not have? I don't have a screwdriver out here, guys, but I will in just a second. Hold on. Back with you guys now, and I found a little screwdriver that I can stick in here where this little clip is. Actually, guys, for everybody that wants to be really technical, this is a snap ring, and I do in fact have a set of snap ring pliers up there in the shop, but I don't think that I have any that are small enough to separate this. So I'm going to have to try to finagle it around a little bit, and knowing my luck, well, time it's all over, guys, I'll have to find a brand new snap ring to go on it, but you can pick those up for about a dime. They're not really all that expensive. And I do believe, guys, some time ago, a couple of seasons ago at Christmas, I was working on this before and had this same daggum issue. I really do. Oh, there it is. I'll try to get it right there where you guys can see it. It's just a little small ring, nothing special about it. But now, if everything goes right, I can pull this little plastic dealio off here. Let's see how it works. Oh, there it comes. I think it's just stuck on there from all the use. So there's our little thing. But you can look in here. You can see, guys, we've got some Phillips head screws right here that are officially attaching this to the housing, I guess you would call it. But we're going to take those loose too, and we're going to try to get down here to the heart of the matter on how I'm going to fix this, because actually, guys, this is in way worse repair than what I originally believed it to be. I don't think it was hardly this bad, guys, when I worked on it the first time. Let's see if I can get that up out of there. Oh yeah, yep, there's a dead bug or something. Yep, take a look at that. I believe that has seen better days, guys. I really do. But now, if you notice right here, I'm going to try to get it around. I do remember this part. You can see the other part of this shaft spinning right here on the back. Now, I myself, guys, am a WD-40 man, and I'm gonna clean this right here up. Probably won't show you guys that on camera. I'm gonna get me some paper towels, some type of a cleaner, kind of clean it up and wipe it out and things. But I'll tell you what we're gonna do. I've seen a lot of different things that people use on little engines like this, but we're just gonna give it a little dose of the old WD-40. I like my WD-40. Now, I'm not against other types of oils and their uses and things, but I don't know, there's just something about WD-40 to me. I think it does a good job, and it always has. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, I gave it just a little squirt of oil. You don't need a whole lot there, or WD-40, and I'm just going to spin it and work it down in there a little bit. Actually, may plug this guy back up, turn the little motor on, and while it's spinning, try to hang on to it, shoot a little oil down in there. I would be careful if you're going to try to do that at home, because this little guy, he might get hung in some long sleeves or something, and you don't want that, because that would get you hurt. So, you know me, I'm a safety guy. So you guys hang on, I'll be right with you. We're going to clean a little more, see what we got here. I do believe, though, if I'm not mistaken, we might just be able to take this. Nope, I believe those are seized in there pretty good. I was going to say we might be able to take that completely apart and take a look at it, but then again, we may not have to. Anyways, you guys stay tuned. I'm going to clean this up and I'll be back with you. All right, everybody. If you guys can tell, I have moved our whole operation here fixing the Santa Claus to my back patio, because I know you guys can't tell it at home, but since you saw me last, I have left the house for about 2 or 3 hours. It's been a long day, but I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did, guys, because it's given me time to kind of collect my thoughts on something. I'm going to show you guys something. Before I turn the camera back on, let me get over here where you can look. I disassembled our little blower motor right here, and I'm glad I did. For folks that really understand little electric engines and things, I'll try to do it when I'm editing this video. Well, buddy, this guy has accumulated a little bit of rust in there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little piece of sandpaper here. I'm going to shine some of this up, guys, but since you've seen me last, and I know on camera it doesn't look like it's just a few minutes, I have brought everything around back. Now I'm going to get our housing out here, and I'm going to set it flat on our back table here. And if I can do it without breaking it any more than what it's already broke, guys, I'm going to show you something for a lot of folks that don't know this. Now I've just got out my soldering iron right here, and sometimes with certain plastics, and I believe this may be one, if you can see it there on film, you can literally take a small pencil tip soldering iron like this, guys, and just kind of melt things back together. That's what I'm going to try to do right here, and it appears that it's working. I would suggest doing this outside anytime you do this, guys. The smell that comes off of it is horrible, but a lot of folks think that you have to have a extremely big type of machine made for this. There are some things for plastic that they use in the automotive industry that will put like a little, well, I guess you would call that a little copper piece in here, and it melts it into the plastic to help hold two pieces back together. But no more than what this is broke. Sometimes a little soldering iron will help. Now I'll fix it where you guys see it. That was cracked all the way through there just like this. What I'm going to do is take my time. I'll just kind of show you guys. I'm going to turn it up here where you can see it. And I've let the soldering iron get real hot. I'm just going to work my way down that crack and basically just mold that plastic housing back together, guys. And just try to help give it a little strength again so that it doesn't break and everything. Hopefully that's going to work enough to hold it, and it'll probably make the bottom of this that much tighter again, as far as like for the fan to suck air through it, I would think. But I believe most all of this right here that we're looking at where it's broken, guys, was caused within, I think it was season before last. We got some extremely high winds and things, and with my inflatable Santa Claus being so tall, basically the wind caught him and he was affixed to the ground, and when it did, it just broke his entire base. So let me come on down through here with this. We'll see if we can't just continue melting this. And probably, since I've got the soldering iron out here, guys, I've got some wire nuts over here beside me. I don't know if you guys can see them there on the table, just some old ones that I had laying around. But probably, if I was guessing, I'm going to try to solder the connections in here when I put this back together. I don't know, I could put wire nuts on it. Might do a little soldering and a little shrink tubing, but I'll sure enough show you guys that at home. Because this is actually, guys, what I have found since I've got into it, it is in a little worse shape than what I originally thought it was. It wasn't this bad when I got it a few years ago. I guess we could go to the bottom and do a little more melting while we're at it. And just melt it kind of from both sides there, guys. Something along those lines. See if we can't melt that plastic back together. And it'll be just as strong as it was when it was new, guys. But it's doing a really good job. Actually, what I may do, guys, is take this video and end up making it kind of a two-part video, because it'll be probably a lot even after I edit it and everything for everybody to watch in one sitting. But I don't know, it just depends. I'll film it all as much as I can as one thing, and then if it ends up being long, I don't know yet, we'll divide it into two parts. But look at that, guys. You can see the smoke coming off of it where the plastic's getting hot and melting and things. But I promise you, when that right there is done right, it's just almost as good as new. I've fixed a lot of plastic things in my lifetime with a soldering iron, guys, just by melting the plastic back. And the beautiful thing is you can take a piece of sandpaper and just clean the tip off and use it again and again. But now we have the base of our Santa Claus repaired. And somewhere, guys, around here, I don't know where I've put it now. Maybe it fell off. Oh, it did. I'll get down here and get this. We're going to fix our electrical cover for the engine. So give me 1 second and I'll be right back with you. Okay, guys, so I got underneath the table. I found our little piece of plastic. I guess it broke over time. Probably the oils have in fact come out of this plastic, and if I'm lucky and can just hold this or prop it up somehow, ooh, that's even got a nifty little watertight seal on it that happens to be broke. Let's see here. If I can in fact get this to a certain angle where I can hold it, something like that. So if I can reach down here and do it on camera, I'll just melt that ear back on there while I'm at it too. Yeah. See, it's starting to hold it again, guys. That way when I screw the cover back on, it'll be on there really good and tight. Yeah, that ought to work. Well, guys, now that I've got the plastic soldered back together, I've got the top part of our little electric motor here. What I'm going to do is just take a little piece of sandpaper, kind of move this back and forth a little, clean it up, and see if I could get a little of this rust off. Oh, there we go. Take the whole inside of that thing out. I'm going to clean that whole shaft up good right there. Just some old 100 grit paper. That way when I put this thing back in there, it'll spin, and when I put the little impeller back on it, it'll be a lot easier to get on and off. I think that's what it was, guys. The little motor on this thing was still pretty strong, but our problem was is that the little engine in here, I think, had corrosion around it, and it just wasn't making a good connection. Now what I'm doing right there is cleaning up the windings, or well, the piece on the inside that spins in the windings. Just kind of knock a little of the corrosion off of it too while I'm at it. Not too much though. Don't want to damage that thing. Let's see. In there, it's still hooked to the wiring, is the inside of our little armature. And I don't know if you guys can see it down in there. It may be hard. There's almost like a little bearing in this thing, and we're going to give that a little WD-40 here in a minute, and we're going to see, it might actually be that little thing has got a little corrosion. It looks pretty pretty rusted down in there, guys. I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but I believe it is, and I think that's why our little motor wasn't spinning at full force. We can't have that. Let's give her a dose of the old WD-40 here and see if we can loosen that up. And I'd say by now there's a few of y'all that's been watching me and you're wondering the whole time, why has he got that grease gun? And that's because we're going to put a little bitty light coating of grease here on the end of this. Ow. That's just a little high temperature axle grease I had left over for my lawnmowers and everything. Now I'm not going to get too carried away with it, guys, because I don't want it getting hot while it's running and getting down there in the motor too much, even though I don't think it would really hurt it all that bad. We'll see, but if we cannot get this thing back together. It has seals and stuff in it, guys, the best I can tell. Ooh, I'll show you right here. If you can see it on camera, it's got a little rubber O-ring, and what it amounts to is there's the back side of the cap. It's all pretty clean. See if I can get that to go back on. Yep, might need to put a little more grease in there. Not just a whole lot, but a little bit. See if we can't get things loosened up here a little where they'll spin a little bit better. I'll try to get it over here and show it to you. It's got a little bushing inside of there. It's got one on the bottom too. That looks almost like some kind of bearing, or maybe, guys, like something got too hot at one time. I don't know. That's interesting. But it does move around. Wow. It does move around a little bit. So I'm going to finish getting this cleaned up, guys, oiled up and everything, get it back together, and I'll be right back with you guys, and we're going to finish cleaning up the bottoms of this and put it back together. All right, so I have got it all cleaned up, guys, and put back together. I put our impeller, I think I said propeller earlier in this video, but this is actually an impeller, I believe, because it's on the inside. Put a little grease in here, cleaned up our case and everything the best that I could. I'm just going to put our top back on there. Now, when I had said earlier in this video, you have to kind of picture this, guys. It sits like so, and it draws air underneath up through the impeller, excuse me, blows it out right here to fill up your inflatable. And time again, because this isn't the first one of these that I've ever fixed, guys, what happens is people will have like yard debris, and it'll get up in here and it'll mess things up. But you can see, I'll get you over here close, couldn't get it just super clean, guys, but I believe that'll work, because this thing just stays outside most time anyways, or in storage. But I got it as clean as I could. Now, if I can remember which screws I took out of it, that would help a whole lot too. Yeah, I believe it's these. Anyways, for all of you that are following this video along and everything right now, guys, the key to this right here is, now I'll tell you something I have found myself in times past. I have taken a bunch of these little impellers like this apart before, and whenever I did, I found that sometimes they don't want to start back up the first time or so after you grease them and things a little bit. That's why you don't need to really put too much grease. You know, you don't want to really get carried away. But sometimes if you reach through your vents right here and take something small like a little screwdriver, just kind of give them a flick, it'll get them going. And you may have to do that a time or two, and whenever you do, it will in fact start this thing up. It's kind of like once you disassemble it and then put it back together, it's kind of got to wear itself a new groove in, I guess. And when it does that, it'll make it start running again. But you know, if you've ever been to buy some of your inflatables, now some of them are extremely cheap, you know, we're talking 15, 20 bucks, and other ones can be on up $200 or $300, if not more. It just depends on how elaborate of an inflatable you want. And I will tell you this, possibly do something. Now, this particular Santa Claus has the old types of bulbs. I don't have one of them out here to show you guys, but it's not your LED bulbs, and they're inside of like a little plastic container. And when the Santa Claus airs completely up, the power cable like this goes up the center of him, and he has a bunch of little receptacles for the light bulbs. They're similar to the light bulbs that used to be on Christmas trees and things. And those little plastic covers that go over them are extremely important, because when your Santa Claus deflates or anything, or whatever your inflatable is, it keeps it from breaking your bulbs. Now, I have seen a video where some folks had taken the old types of light bulbs out, and they had wired it up with some new and brighter LED bulbs that didn't put off a lot of heat. And that may be in store for the big Santa Claus. It just depends on how many holes I find in him. And we're going to take the Gorilla Tape, go to the inside, just kind of put something over those holes to help stop the air from leaking out. But I can't wait to see, guys. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. But I'm going to finish this up, and I'm going to make sure that I make our electrical connections and things over here good. Like I said, instead of using just a wire nut, I may actually solder them and shrink tube them, because they're going to be out in the elements, in the hot and the cold. And if I leave the inflatable running one day and I'm not home, it may come up a storm or a snowstorm or something, and I don't really want electrical wires and electricity getting soaking wet in my front yard. I have seen these guys kind of melt down and pop before. But anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead, get ready to attach this and things. I've got to get our inflatable back with our ring and all. Go ahead and start making our electrical connections right quick. And through the powers of video editing, I'll show you guys all of that when I get done. And we're going to test this thing right fast, and then we're going to move on to taping up our hole. Now, I found all my hots and all my grounds here. Got the soldering iron heated up. I believe I'm just going to solder these. Originally, I was thinking about using a, well, I would if the soldering iron never get hot. If I had good tools, it'd make a world of difference. But originally I was going to use wire nuts on this. There it goes. Originally I was going to use wire nuts on this, guys, and I decided, you know what, I don't think I am, because it's going to have to sit out here in the elements. And I decided a good solder connection, and then I'm going to put some shrink tubing over it, would be the way to go if it'll start melting my solder. I may have to go get the big soldering iron. Well, guys, I had to swap soldering irons. We had to go for an older, bigger one. But I believe what I'm going to do, guys, I made my connections right here, and instead of using wire nuts and things, I believe what I'm going to do is just shrink tubing everything together, because this is going to have to stay out in the elements. I have in times past fixed a lot of lawnmowers and things just by twisting it, soldering it, and shrink tubing it all together. Works pretty good as far as keeping moisture out of stuff. I used to be a big wire nut person, crimp connectors many times on a car in case you got to get something back loose. But I believe what I'm going to do, guys, is before we put the actual inflatable back to the stand, we're going to plug this guy in and see if it works. I know there's probably a lot of folks that follow me or seeing this video that are big electronics guys, and they're like, hey buddy, you didn't ohm meter it out. Well, I know I didn't, but I paid real close attention when I was taking it apart to make sure that I didn't swap anything up. So, which I don't really know if it'd matter all that much anyways, guys. Probably would though, knowing my luck. Uh-oh, I dropped another screw. I was gonna try to get that solder loose, but it doesn't look like it. Looks like we've got a, solid little drop of solder on there. But I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's keep those apart. And while I'm standing here, before we put everything completely back together, we're gonna do a little test run, guys, and see how it works. See what we got. Those wires apart, because we don't want those touching. Let's see. Contact. Oh yeah. And we got lights over here on the ground, guys. Now that sounded more like it for anybody that's ever messed with inflatables before. I think that's kind of what we wanted. The little blower motor here just, I think it had a little bit of grime in there, and it just wasn't doing right. Let's see what we got. If I can find us a good piece of shrink tube, and it looks like I'm running out of daylight here, guys. And this may be, I believe that one will work. And put it down on there and trim it off with something. Yep. Hopefully that right there will do it, guys. For those of you that don't know what I'm doing, this is some amazing stuff, the heat shrink tubing. I like this stuff. It works really good. It's been around forever. But all you have to do is make a good solder connection where your wires won't come loose. Find a piece about like what I'm doing right here and try to get it, well, I said I would, way on down on there, and it'll actually, once you heat it and shrink it back together, it'll almost hold your wires together shut for you. Let's see if I can cut a piece of that off and kind of show you guys. Ow. Uh-oh. Popping some plastic again. Looks like they'd have made this thing out of a little bit heavier plastic, but then again, they probably didn't think a guy like me would come along and take it apart and mess with it. Somewhere around this place, I've got a thing where I can heat this up. Here we go. Let's see if that'll work. Maybe I can show it to you guys on film. Yep, she's shrinking up right there, guys. I'll finish this up a little bit, show you guys in just a minute everything when we get it all done. I'll even try to get the camera over here and kind of show it to you. Okay guys, I got you right over here close so you could see. I hooked our wires back together, made our connections, shrink tubing everything. Now we're going to take our little piece, it's our plate that covers everything. I soldered that little ear back on. It's originally got a little gasket around it. It's laying around here somewhere. I'm going to find it. I'm going to put this back on, but I wanted to show you guys while I had you over here close so you could really see it. Now that we've made the connections and everything, let me find our plug in. And you can in fact hear it. Check this out. If you didn't hear it on the first one. Oh yeah. She is really blowing some air out of there now. So I'm going to button all this up, guys. I'm going to get back with you. I'm going to get the actual inflatable part up here. I'm going to try to get inside of him a little bit. We're going to turn him inside out, see if we can't find a few of the holes, attach him back to this base, go back around front. I'm going to blow it up and show it to you guys. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to stop this particular video right here. We started running out of daylight. I got up there, looked inside the big Santa Claus, and I could not see where the holes were myself. And I definitely want to film you guys a good video at home for everybody that follows me. So I am going to get out there tomorrow. Like I said earlier, I am going to make this a two-part video. We're going to search for the holes inside the big Santa Claus. We're going to put a little tape on the inside, attach him to the base again. I'm going to get out there in daylight hours when we can see good. I'm going to show him to you guys all blown up and everything. We're going to see if it works the way I think it will. And then, if all goes right, I will get out there tomorrow night if it's really nice, and I'll finish the second video up with a picture of him glowing there in the dark. So, I say it all the time, folks. Definitely stay safe on the water, stay safe in the woods, stay safe if you're messing with electricity and Christmas inflatables, and stay tuned here at the Crockett Coonhound Show, and myself and Scooter, we will have you folks another video dropping shortly. You guys have a great day.